Developing this morning, the family of a missing college student is reportedly asking authorities to declare her dead. That's according to media in the Dominican Republic. 20-year-old Sudiksha Konanki disappeared nearly 2 weeks ago while on a spring break trip to the Dominican Republic with a group of friends. Authorities still trying to piece together a timeline of her whereabouts and any new clues as to what may have happened to her. Joining me now, I have trial attorney and legal analyst Misty Marris. Misty, it's always good to have you. Not a whole lot of clarity in this case. I mean, it's been this slow drip of just incremental updates. What are you making of these reports that Konanki's parents want her declared dead?
Yeah, it seems that her parents are now at the point where they want some closure. And even though a body has not been found, which would obviously give some clarity, it's the most critical piece of evidence in any case, right? It can tell you the means and the manner and the timing of a death. And even though that has not happened yet, no body has been found. It sounds as though her parents want to move on, perhaps get some closure, and are accepting, according to the reporting, the story of the last person to see her alive, who is currently in the Dominican Republic with his passport seized. So at this point, it seems that that call, which previously, just a day ago, the parents were saying, don't think this is just a drowning. There could be something more to this case. But perhaps they're keen to more evidence that has not been made publicly available that's led them to the conclusion that this is something they need to put behind them and move on from a horrible tragedy.
And would declaring her dead change the game in any other way? Like, would that afford the family new legal avenues or new investigative routes that they don't currently have?
Well, the family could still potentially pursue something in the civil sphere with respect to the failure of the hotel to have security measures that are sufficient to protect people against going into the ocean late at night, something to that effect, that there were no cameras. You know, we have a big divide from where she's last seen on camera as when she's down at the beach. That's the area where we don't really know what happened because there is no video footage. Those avenues exist regardless. But really, what would happen in that particular case, if it were to be declared, she's declared dead and there's a drowning, the student who's currently being held would have another avenue, currently seeking to be released in a habeas corpus petition, to say that, okay, if this is declared to be a drowning, then he should be able to come back to the United States. So there's a couple of different legal wranglings that can happen once that is formally declared deceased.
Yeah, I know that habeas corpus hearing is scheduled for today for this man who's the last to be seen with her. Again, to your point, he's not been named a suspect, but his attorneys have come forward and said, you know, he's not been allowed to leave the hotel. He's under constant police supervision, so technically he's not free. Is that normal, Misty?
So in the Dominican Republic, there's actually a 48-hour window for investigators to bring charges under the law. But similar to the laws we have in the United States, someone cannot be unlawfully detained. And detained has a specific legal meaning. And that legal meaning is, even if you're not technically under arrest, if a reasonable person would believe that they can't leave, then that qualifies as being detained. So in this particular case, his passport has been seized. He's being held at the hotel. He can't leave the country. Therefore, his lawyers are making the argument that technically he is being detained, and therefore it's either they bring charges or let him or release him as would any other individual. So I think what we see here is investigators really wanting to get down to the crux, get all the information that they can before this individual leaves the country. But that has to be balanced with those protections for those individuals, constitutional protections. So the law is a bit different in Dominican Republic, but it has parallels in the laws we have in the United States.
And Misty, let me just point out, too, this video that we're playing here to the right of the screen. This is that new surveillance footage that authorities there just released this week. It shows Konanki at a bar. Some people are debating if she's going over to this, pillar, if she's vomiting, if she's, just bending over to pick something up. We don't really know yet. But then she goes off and hugs a friend. She's jumping up and down. She seems jovial. Does this new piece of footage help authorities at all in any new directions?
It certainly helps to put together and piece together that timeline. And there is one aspect here that is, of course, going to make it difficult to assess exactly what happened when she goes down to the beach. And that's that the footage ends at some point.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.